This book by
Nadine.
Nadine, how's it been received? And has Nadine been excommunicated by the Church of State yet?
No, I don't think she has been, because I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask her that, but she does have to tread a narrow line, but she's just so obviously correct.
Yeah.
The book is very, very compelling for any liberal, and I doubt there are a huge number of them listening to your podcast. But look, everybody has liberal friends. Give them this book if they actually, most Americans have free speech imbued in them. To be perfectly honest, the main problem with free speech on the horizon are the immigrants coming in who have no tradition of free speech.
None.
I mean, we discussed this with her in my podcast. Part of what shocked me about her book is the ways our sister Anglo-Saxon nations, including the mother country, Great Britain, Canada, and Australia, how they are slapping down. There was, as I mentioned in the podcast with her, I mean, there were some shocking ones. One candidate for office in England, home of John Stuart Mill, quoted Winston Churchill about the mass Muslim immigration. There wasn't mass Muslim immigration under Churchill, but what he said was, it was something like, this is the gist of it, I'm not putting it properly, but under the Mohammedan, women are second-class citizens, or however they put it back then. They are not treated as equals. We can't allow that culture to permeate ours.
And so that's untrue. How's that untrue?
Not only how is it untrue, you're quoting Churchill. It's quote.
Yeah.
It's 100% true. It's taking a feminist, or I don't call it feminist, I think it's a standard Anglo-Saxon American line about, respect and integrity of women, for women and of women. He's quoted this Churchill quote in a speech. This was a candidate for office, so it's also political speech, and he was arrested and said, do not use it again or you're going to prison. There was a church, this one is one I mentioned in the podcast that I got from her book, a church, Christian church, Bible, all that stuff. They put up a sign saying, and this I'm pretty close to accurate, think there's no God? And then on the other side, 2 panels. The other panel is a huge burning fire, and it says, better be sure. That was a violation of England's free speech. So, I mean, when even our fellow Anglo-Saxons are flipping out about speech, can you imagine bringing in people with no tradition of free speech? And I've noticed this all the time. I think Phyllis Schlafly wrote an article about this a few years ago. You think young people are going more liberal? No, young people are going more foreign. And when you break out American young people, college students, versus immigrant college students, ask them about the right to bear arms. Ask them about the right to free speech. They don't have our tradition with us. I mean, with you, even before you started listening to Rush, it's just something, if you are an American and grew up in an American family, it's in the air. You pick them up by osmosis. Our freedom is a very hard thing to get used to. And it is very easy to lose. Thus, immigration is my biggest issue right now.